What, Austin? Have you lost? What are you doing?
Well, no. So I actually have an explanation behind this, okay? So the new Raptor finally came out, and I just figured, because Ford put all of their engineering into this new Raptor. They made it as insane as an off-road vehicle as they possibly could be. And I just know that the majority of the people are just gonna use it as a mall crawler. So I figured that I was gonna test the conditions that the Raptor would typically be driving in. That way I could get a feel for what Ford was thinking when they engineered this truck.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Todd. My son Austin and I make all sorts of YouTube videos about all sorts of different cars. Today, we check out the $91,000 2024 Ford Raptor.
For 2024, Ford did a facelift on the pretty recently redesigned Ford Raptor.
Did.
In 2021, Ford gave the Raptor a facelift, and here again in 2024, we got yet another mid-cycle refresh. Right. However, today we want to dive deep into the new Raptor and see if they did more than just give this thing some makeup on the front end and some new taillights and back. And shout out to Apple Valley Ford for allowing us to use the vehicle in today's video. If you guys are interested in purchasing this Raptor, be sure to check out the link down in the description below.
About a week ago, Austin and I were checking out a different 2024. Actually, we were just wrapping up making a video on some F-150s with Whipple superchargers on.
Yeah, so this is a super last minute video. I'm honestly disappointed we haven't put it out, but I just wanted to because it was the new Raptor.
We need to do that video justice, but we saw a brand new Shelter Green Raptor sitting on the lot.
And it looks insane. And actually, right before we're done talking about Shelter Green, my work just put satin PPF over the new Shelter Green color on a Bronco Raptor. Look at the look at the way that this thing looks. It's like military green, but there's still really flake under it with like goldish and bronze flake in it. What a cool color.
So anyways, we thought we needed to give a little more justice to the 2024 redesigned Raptor.
Agreed.
And that's what we intend to do today.
So I figured we might as well start right up front where I think the most people are curious about the redesigned Raptor, which is obviously the facelifted front end. I'm a huge fan of the new DRLs and headlights. Super menacing looking.
It is. Absolutely menacing.
And something that's kind of interesting as well is if you actually look close at these housings, you know, from far away, it's got like the cool look to it, but if you come up close, there's so much dimension inside of these housings. There's actually a lot going on, and the way that this actually uses the turn signal as well, and then the way that it of course matches with the Raptor grille running lights, it is so dang cool looking. And just everything inside of these housings is incredible looking. And of course we do have the active headlights as well that move around with you, turn with you. So they are a really serious set of headlights that we have in there. And under that, what we had on the previous gen Raptor, or the pre-facelift Raptor I should say, we once again have our rigid fog lights with the secondary rigid floodlights, which are controllable with the toggle switch that is inside of the interior. So that is pretty cool that Ford decided to include those again. And it's sweet that we have this much lighting on the front end of a new Raptor just straight from the factory.
Yeah, I think we are confusing a statement with the Bronco Raptor though. I'm pretty sure these are just controlled by the factory switch, where on the Bronco Raptor, that's when you use the auxiliary switches.
That is correct.
So yeah, I love exactly, just to kind of repeat what you said, like the smoked out look of the DRLs, but then it's got like those segmented lines in there, which it kind of adds. I like it when some of the design elements add to other parts of the vehicle. So the decals that come on the Raptor are like, again, segmented lines. So
yeah, we got some refreshed decals in front and in back, so those are definitely exciting to see.
Working our way over there in just a second, but obviously, as kind of Austin pointed out, just to re-hit a few things here, like the re-scripted Ford logo. We're over $90,000, so expect all the best tech. We've got cameras everywhere. Even our cameras have little washers on them. The grill is kind of has a modular option where you can put some more accessories on there and make it your own. It's gonna be really weird to start seeing less and less Raptors on 35s because we're again on 37s, and it just fits the truck so well that I think when you see them on 35s now, you're gonna be like, what's wrong with that Raptor? And going on the side of the truck, you wouldn't necessarily know that this is a new redesign if you're just kind of looking at the cab, but there are a few things to point out with the tech when we get into the inside. Austin will kind of take things over in the back here, and you have your first glimpse that there's something a little different compared to a normal F-150. As most people know, the Raptor's been around for a long time. This is a Baja-focused rig, so that means off-road. The suspension is able to keep up with the terrain, and the electronics that are talking to the suspension are able to adapt with that. But with that, you actually lose some of the capability that would come from a standard F-150. Things such as your towing capacity and your payload, they're actually down on a Raptor, but that's because you're getting that off-road kind of Baja capability. Don't confuse that with rock crawling. Those are two different things. Hey, look, there's another mirror. Or a camera on the mirror there. There's cameras everywhere.
As we move around back of the Raptor here, as my dad said, the towing capacity on the Raptor here is in the 8,000 pound range versus the standard F-150s in the 13,000 pound range, just so you guys are familiar with where that towing capacity difference is. As we move around the side, you can now see those new graphics that match very similar to the ones that we showed on the hood up front. I really like the look of this reddish orange color over the black. This was the same sticker that was on the shelter green Raptor that we looked at just last week. And I must admit, this looks substantially better over the black than it did on the shelter green. Kind of an off color on that shelter green. The one thing I don't like about the sticker is it's this like orangish reddish color, okay? But we have our large Fox shocks just below it, which are very, very clearly visible from the side, and it's a totally different hue than the sticker. Now, that might just be my brain playing games with me and a little bit of OCD kicking in, but that would bug me personally, these being two different shades of green and being so close to each other. Now, as we move around back, the new taillight housing, huge fan of the way that this looks, brings a lot more dimension into it, and I love this LED DRL that we have for the taillight. Looks phenomenal, looks very aggressive, and they kind of have a smoked accent just like those headlights up front. For the third brake light, we do have the 3 running red LEDs, which looks pretty aggressive. And in back, of course, being the Raptor, we have the larger flat black exhaust tips, and just like up front, once again, a retextured or slightly redesigned Ford logo on the back of the tailgate. One thing that I've always thought was cool, but kind of unnecessary, and I don't want to pay for at some point, of course, is our power down tailgate. But why we have this down, might as well show you, of course. We have that legendary Ford step to get right up on in there, of course, is built into our tailgate, which is fantastic. Step number 1, push down. Step number 2, push down, and then push in, just like that. Super easy to use, very convenient. But not only do we have power down on this tailgate, if we reach down and press our button again, we have power up as well. This is one of those things, like I said, I think is kind of unnecessary and is not going to be a cheap fix when it breaks.
And there's another camera right there.
There is another camera right there as well. Sorry about it being a little bit dark back here. I'll try to light it up the best I can, but it's black and we're in a dark area, so it's the best that I can do. That's kind of the way life goes sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? In the back of the Raptor, in my opinion, being a $90,000 truck, I feel like at this point we should almost get bedliner standard. Do you not agree?
Yes, that might be a pretty solid argument, but there are some fun things back here worth talking about. And by the way, I do have to comment on the brake lights. If you didn't notice those, I love the fact that they just, again, incorporated the design.
Brought those up.
Yeah, the 3 clearance lights in the front, and they bring it to the back. So yeah. And hey, wait a second. There's another camera up there.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Smokes.
Wow.
All right, back to the bed. We have an on-off switch for our LED lights that not only illuminate from the back sides of the bed, but also up there we kind of get the floodlight perspective down onto the bed.
They do a good job of lighting up the bed when you're trying to do something here and it's dark out.
That's super handy. And then over here on the driver's side, we also have 2 like kind of standard 110 outlets.
Yep, because it now has Pro Power on board, which is pretty helpful.
Awesome. And then over on the passenger side, which I think pretty much every single F-150 gets at this point, is a nice little storage cubby.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're watching this video, it's not because you want the practical F-150 or the F-150 that everyone has. This is like a toy, right? we're going off jumps, and it has the suspension and capability of doing that. And it also has some of that added performance. Although we don't see any increase in power or any changes in the powertrain when it comes to 2024, we do still have that 450 horsepower and that 510 pound-feet of torque. The F-150 Raptor, although it's not gonna, you know, bring any races, any like milk home to mommy or pink slips home because you won some races, right? You're going to get down the quarter mile in about 14 seconds, but things really change when you leave the 3.5 liter EcoBoost behind and you go up to that Raptor R, which Austin and I have a video on that. I'm sure he'll do something clever like put it up in the corner. But anyways, check that out if you really want a wow experience when it comes to horsepower.
Kind of a wow experience when you look at the sticker too. It's at least 30 grand more than this one.
Austin, before we get carried away with anything else here, I'm pretty sure we forgot to mention one of the most important updates, and maybe I'm even lying here. Maybe I'm just going way out of bounds.
Okay, what's that?
But I'm pretty sure the tow hooks are updated.
Oh boy. I have no idea, but thanks for bringing that up. This is very helpful information. I think that wraps up the exterior. Let's hop on the inside of this thing and take it for a quick drive. Without further ado, I'm going to hop up front, you hop in back, and let's talk about sitting position. Now, first of all, before I even hop inside of this thing, wow, those seats are really cool up front. Yeah. The Raptor gets some pretty aggressive bucket seats that are covered on the exterior with leather and on the inside with like this Alcantara or softer material that are ventilated and heated, of course. And then we also have that orange stitching that matches the stickers on the hood and the back that wraps around the outside with some like light gray stitching right on the inside. So that's kind of exciting.
I have to say, like, these back seats are phenomenal.
Yeah, there's a ton of legroom back there too, isn't there?
They're like comfortable. There's a little cushion going on. My arms fit in just the right spots. I'm ready to go. Let's show for me.
Now the front seats are the same way. My arms fit right in the right spots. These seats hug you quite well, but at the same time, they don't hug you too tight. They'd fit the fatter side of America for sure. And yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised with how aggressive yet tame the Raptor's front seats are. So they're pretty great. And I just noticed here, they're actually made by Recaro. So that's kind of exciting to see. And then the steering wheel, the other spot that I'm going to put my hands when I'm sitting up front, we have a great heavily bolstered steering wheel here that feels great in the hands. The large paddles that carry over from the previous gen Raptor, but instead of being that bright silver, they're now this dark gray, which is kind of fun. Up front in the Raptor for 2024, we don't have a whole lot of updates. We've got the 14 speaker B&O. We have the 5G integrated hotspot, which is kind of fun. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot going on. Nothing that you're truly going to notice or that steps out that's going to make it pop out and make it a have to have over the 21 through 23. We again have the 12.3-inch sync screen. We have the full digital dash, which again that we had in the previous year. All of this layout is pretty much the same. You're not going to really notice any differences. The heads-up display is fantastic. It is probably one of the best in the industry right now. Love this heads-up display. And with the updated exterior body, we also got some updated graphics that pop up and play on our digital dash, which is kind of fun when we hop in and hop out of this thing. Other than that, yeah, like I said, you're not really going to notice many differences inside of the Raptor up front. Very similar to the outgoing model year. Everything is really good. Heated and ventilated seats. It's super comfortable, easy to use. Let's drive this thing.
Obviously, we've got a very nice interior. We better for $90,000, right, guys? So anyways, new revisions to the suspension. We want to let you guys know what is new for 2024. So there is some revision to the Fox shocks, the live dual valve Fox shocks. So anywhere those shocks are, the computers are telling them where they are. They're making adjustments. Like, this isn't just like the run-of-the-mill suspension. This is top-notch, like trophy truck type suspension. You got to know that about the Raptor. I love the seats. Austin already talked about them, so I don't want to beat the dead horse. But the Recaro seats, I love the way they hug you. It's a little chilly outside. That seat warmer is just warming me to perfection right now. And I grip that leather-wrapped steering wheel, feel the heat coming off that. And as Austin mentioned, that heads-up display is just crisp and clear. It's telling me the speed limit. It's telling me the time, the temperature, the weather conditions, how fast I'm going. Just a really well put together truck, as you would expect. And obviously a lot of that tech is there, Blue Cruise and Ford 360 Copilot and whatever all the goods are that Ford provides. This has it all.
Redemption feels good. That feels really good. That was a lot better video than the last one we put out.
I hope so.
I sure as heck hope so.
It wasn't hard to beat, though, at the same time.
No, no, it was not. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our video on checking out the 24 Ford Raptor. In my personal opinion, if I was going out spending my hard-earned dollars on a new Raptor, I think I'd stick to the 21 through 23.
Really?
Purely because of depreciation. Yeah, I think this looks better.
You're trying to be wise and stuff. Look at you. I taught him.
Yeah, I think this one looks better, but it's so similar to the previous model year to the point I just don't think it's worth the extra 20 to 30 grand when we look at depreciation.
Here we go. In another year or two, this might be the truck for you to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you next time, guys. Thanks for tuning in.